Hello, my name is Tim Bobian, and I am the Director of Government Affairs for the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors, or SCORE for short. And I am here today with our 2019 President, Gustavo Gonzalez. Why don't you tell us a few words about yourself?
Well, hello, my name's Gustavo Gonzalez. I'm a housing provider here in the San Jose area.
So, today we are going to be talking about the various COVID-19 eviction moratoriums that have been in place. How have they impacted you as a housing provider, and do you have any tenants that currently owe back rent?
Yes, Tim. So I do have tenants that owe back rent. It has impacted me for sure. The good news is most of my tenants have paid their rent, and those that haven't, we have a working relationship where they're working on paying them. And I do have some that are trying to get assistance through these different programs.
So with this over a year of moratoriums and this unpaid rent that is accumulating, what do you think is going to happen on October 1st when the California eviction moratorium finally does come to an end?
Yeah, well, I think that most of us housing providers are going to continue to work with our tenants to try to find rental assistance for them if possible. And we're going to continue to make sure that they're housed so we don't have more homeless. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm sure most of my peers are doing the same.
Very well said, Gustavo. And that's kind of a perfect segue into our next question about the rental assistance program that is available with over $5.2 billion allocated, and why it's so important that we focus on distributing all these funds that are available. So now that both tenants and housing providers are eligible to apply for the rental assistance and receive 100% of unpaid rent and
Mhm.
utilities, have you submitted an application for that rental assistance? And what was your experience with the program?
Yeah, so I have submitted an application about a month and a half ago. It took me about 10 minutes to complete the application. It was pretty painless, it's all online. They do ask a few questions that I didn't know at the beginning, like AMI for my tenants, but if I didn't know, I can skip it and move on to the next question. So it was pretty easy to do. Like I said, 10 minutes. The first thing that they do is they ask for your address, and they do that because there's two programs. There's the state program and there's a local program. And you get to decide which one you want to fill out and move forward with.
And I heard that recently the program was overhauled and streamlined in the beginning. It had a lot of complications. You said you filled out your application a couple of weeks ago. Have you heard from any housing providers that have filled it out a little bit more recently and what their experience was with the new application?
I have heard from some housing providers, and what I've heard is that some of them have received money, but then there's others that haven't. And the reason for it is because either one or two parties aren't really working together. So, in order for this to work, both the tenant and the housing provider need to provide their information so that they have a completed application. And so it's issues around that communication. I know my issue a month and a half ago was the application not coming together. Once I filled out my part and the tenant did their part, they weren't meeting. So we had a call and we waited an hour, but I understand that those things have been resolved and hopefully they have been.
That's great. And it's so important for our tenants and our housing providers to work collaboratively together through this time to make sure that the application is properly processed. And now we are hearing that the applications are supposed to be processed within 2 weeks, and housing providers will receive direct payments for the rental assistance within 4 weeks.
Mhm.
So, Gustavo, before we finish up with a wrap up, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to provide on the program?
Sure, just you know what? Apply. You have nothing to lose and all to gain. Work with your tenants, have that open communication with them, and hopefully at the end you'll get some money.
And we still have over $4 billion of rent relief available for our housing providers and tenants. Over 100,000 households have been served already. But if you are a little hesitant about the program and you're interested in learning more, please check out the SCORE blog post at the link below, which has a lot of resources and a link to the application as well. Finally, for anything pertaining to the government affairs real estate industry, remember to follow all of our SCORE social channels, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thank you for your time, Gustavo.
All right, thank you, Tim.